Hey, everybody, and welcome to this episode 213 of the Thoughtium Navigating Now virtual roundtable series. I am Anthony Ewing, CEO, co-founder here at Thoughtium, and I am super thrilled to be coming to you all live from our new Thoughtium Chicago headquarters, based here in the heart of the West Loop, in the heart of the city that so many of us love and know. We are proud to dig our roots even deeper here in Chicago and create some space of our own. And that's really going to be the focus of today's episode is how do we here at Thoughtium, this team that is so focused on designing and delivering experiences for others, create space for ourselves. And we have always seen our workspace as a huge differentiator, as a platform for us to grow as a team, to connect, to share big ideas, and even to bring our clients into. And that's going to be at the center of our conversation today. I am thrilled because our whole team is here this week. We come together once a quarter to really put our minds together on the future of Thoughtium, to collaborate in person, to do some of our most meaningful work. And this week has been a special one because everybody has seen this new space and, as you can see, are working in this space for the first time. And it's just electric. So we're going to take this opportunity to bring a few Thoughtium teammates in. We're going to share some thoughts and some perspectives on what's in and out for 2025. And we're going to end on workspace. Again, we think that that's a huge differentiator, not just for us, but for so many organizations out there. It's something we're very passionate about. So I'm going to welcome a few of my teammates in here to share in the conversation. And we're going to start with Azmeen. Azmeen, welcome to the table.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. It's so good to see you. It's so good to be at the table with you, as always. And we're kicking off 2025 as a team. And we are acknowledging so much change that has happened, both in the marketplace, but more so here at Thoughtium. This team has been through so much change. And so our first theme for 2025 is change. It's a constant. Mm-hmm. You being one of our resident change experts, I'm curious, and maybe we'll start with something a little bit more personal. You've been through some change. Tell us what's going on with you.
I have been through some change. So I just recently came back from maternity leave. So my change is I am now playing a new role, which is mother.
I love that. Yeah. And that role suits you really, really well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's good to be back.
That's a huge promotion.
Thank you. Yeah.
How does it feel being back? Because, this week is a big week. You're a new mom. You're also a big part of this team. We're stepping into a whole new space and everybody's converged this week. Like, it's got to feel like a lot, no?
It feels like a lot, but I feel like everyone's been so supportive, even just coming up to me personally. And they're like, if you need anything, I'm here. I also feel like it's great because this space is a brand new change for all of us. And I got to be here for it. So in some ways, I feel like I haven't really skipped a beat. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. How has your perspective on this topic of change, which I know you've been so passionate about, how has it maybe shifted as you've become a new parent?
I think change, the idea of change is constant, I think fits in very well with being a parent. Or change comes in waves. Sometimes you feel like you got this and you're understanding your child and everything's flowing in the right direction. And then all of a sudden your child needs something else and you have to shift and be adaptable. So I feel like I've just been living it and breathing it over these past few months.
Yeah, I love that. We're going to talk a little bit about what's out and what's in on these topics. And I love the fact that change, the topic itself, has been so fluid. You think about like change and change management being this kind of like old stingy term. You think about how change is now kind of the new normal for so many organizations. As we step into 2025, what should we start to see as being kind of a little outdated when it comes to change?
Yeah. I think for me, one thing that I've been looking at is, we spend a lot of time in the look back and the look ahead, which I think is extremely important, looking back and reflecting on what was, and then looking forward, what's your vision, what will be. Although I do think that's important, I think sometimes we glaze over the present. And what I'm proposing that we step into in 2025 is actually leaning more into that present moment versus feeling like, there's this big audacious goal that I have to work towards. And what does that leap look like? What does it look like to actually be here in this present moment? I think what's happening behind us is a perfect example of just being present. We didn't kick our teammates out. Everyone's working. There's a beautiful chaos happening behind us where folks are working. And I think that's a perfect example of, us being here together in the moment. Me
Yeah.
and you are presenting in front of our teammates even right now as well. So
Yeah.
I think that's what I imagine for 2025
Yeah.
is what does it look like when we approach change more presently?
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. We just went through our Thoughtium quarterly retrospective, which each quarter, by definition, is an opportunity for us to look back.
Mm-hmm.
And so much that it's so exciting because we see, you know, so much of the accomplishments and we celebrate so many of the
Mm-hmm.
wins. And, you know, this year was just an absolute 2024 was a banner year for Thoughtium in
Mm-hmm.
terms of our revenue growth, the growth of our team, the growth of our client network. And then we always look forward, right?
Yeah.
We always kind of stand at the doorstep and look forward and say, hey, what are we kind of pointing towards?
Mm-hmm.
To your point, like even we could do a better job of pausing in the moment. So think about, you know, that next time that you're
Mm-hmm.
with your team and you're maybe going through kind of your regular cadence of either looking back or developing strategy for the future. Mm-hmm. And maybe there's an opportunity to just pause and acknowledge where you're at. So
Mm-hmm.
I love that reflection that kind of the retro is maybe not out of date, but needs to be updated a little bit, if you will. What is in the change world today?
For me, it is really that idea of being more present with what's happening in front of you. So one way to be more present, I've found, is just micro moments. So instead of, you know, seeing that big audacious goal and thinking about what are those strategic steps you're going to take, maybe think about what you're going to do right now. So a good example of this is, you know, if you have a team, maybe certain business units are joining and merging into one. That could be the strategic initiative and the goal. But, you know, what's one thing that I can do today, maybe as a business unit leader? Maybe I'll grab a coffee with you and just get to know you as a person. And maybe that's just my one micro step that I'm going to make today. And I think that is what leads to lasting change is, you know, what am I going to do right now?
We encourage all of our clients that run a remote first or virtual first infrastructure to make sure that you don't lose those micro moments. And oftentimes those micro moments have to happen in person. Mm-hmm. This is something that, you know, we've thought a lot about and we're trying to model ourselves. So once a quarter, we're a virtual first organization. You know, we have about a half of our team is based here in Chicago and the rest is all over the country. And so we've decided that once a quarter, we're going to bring everybody in for at least a couple days. And, you know, this isn't, you know, a national meeting or some sort of big, you know, hurrah with a stage and slides. This is just opportunity for folks to come in, work together and have those micro moments. Mm-hmm. And there's so many of them. Like in this space alone, what I love about it is it's designed specifically for people to kind of collide and connect and interact in ways that you just can't over Zoom. So I love this term micro moments as being in for 2025. Azmeen, thank you so much for your practitionership.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you for being with us. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we just look forward to so much more of your expertise in the change space. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Anthony.
All right, so we are visiting with a handful of our Thoughtium teammates, and we're going to be welcoming two more into the camera here. Michael Nordstrom needs no introduction, and he loves an early arrival on stage. So I'm going to be introducing Michael and also Layla as well too, and we're going to be talking a little bit about in-person experiences. This is a topic that Michael and Layla, you both are very familiar with because you're at the forefront of a handful of our scaled in-person experiences. We believe that this is going to be a huge trend in 2025. And so I'm curious, Michael, as our community out there and our clients ask about, hey, what's going on with the in-person experience, or what should we do for our next, you know, national meeting? What's out right now for the in-person experience?
First of all, a lot is out. Not everyone's getting it right. I'll just start by saying overall, any virtual experience that needs to be longer than 2 hours should either be broken up or brought in person. I think that's the one thing a lot of people are getting wrong first. I'd also just say that lecture style learning also out.
It's out.
Yeah, I think you're bringing people together. It's an opportunity for collaboration, for connection, which leads me to another thing that's out that I think a lot of people aren't even thinking about. Your seating arrangements. Stadium style seating, canceled.
Oh, interesting. That's a hot take.
You need a half moon table, circular, or bean.
Okay.
One of those three.
That's so interesting. Like we kind of laugh a little bit, we chuckle, but like at the end of the day, those are the aspects of the in-person experience that like make them truly differentiated. I don't think there was a single moment here over the course of the last several days that our team here at Thoughtium in this new space was ever seated classroom style or stadium style. And that makes a difference. So I love those very tactical outs. Thank you, Michael.
I got 2 more for you.
Okay, great. Let's do it.
Framework overload.
Ooh, I feel that one.
Don't boil the ocean when you have people
Yep.
together. Focus on the connection. Focus on opportunities for application. Don't overload people with too much.
I mean, most people don't even know what a framework is, right? And we tend to just kind of like throw these tools and these kits at people in maybe ways that we haven't really fully thought through. Now, at Thoughtium, we do a lot of experiences that are supported by materials that should help people as they leave the experience or they've ended a program to kind of carry that through. But to your point, if we overload them with material, oftentimes that reduces a little bit of the stickiness. So I think that's another great hot take.
It does. Okay, you ready for my last one?
Yes.
You're not going to like this one.
Okay.
Participant guides.
Ooh, okay.
I don't think people need participant guides. I think the biggest utility for one is the fact that you have something to refer to later or to take notes down in, but a notebook or just like an abbreviated slide deck for after.
Yeah.
Far better.
I'm not going to argue that. I always when I look at the future of learning, I always start with the way that we're learning outside of corporate America, because corporate America, L&D is typically a generation or two behind. And I look at the way that like we're learning every day out there. And for me, there are no participant guides. There are no frameworks.
No.
It is play on YouTube. And maybe I'm passively listening and reinforcing with AI or, a simple Google search. So I love that hot take. Michael, thank you so much. Thank you for your leadership. Michael was just newly promoted here at Thoughtium. So we're happy to announce that Michael will be vice president here at Thoughtium. He's had a huge impact on our growth, leading some of our largest, most skilled clients. And most importantly, he's just been such a friend and advocate across the team. So Michael, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes. All right. So we talked about what was out in terms of the in-person experience. And Layla, first of all, welcome to Chicago.
Thank you.
Have you been cold for a day and a half?
Oh my gosh. My hands were so cold walking to work today. I live in California, for those who don't know me, but it is a lot colder here. Yes.
Yeah. And is everybody in your circle okay in California?
Yeah, we, my close friends and family, yes, we do have friends of friends who have lost homes. And so, yeah, it's just, one day at a time.
Yeah, it really is something wild. But every time I turn on the news, I kind of pause and just feel very fortunate for the health and the safety that we all have. So thank you for being here, and thank you for being in Chicago with us.
Thanks for bringing me here.
Tell us, and I know that you've been a part of some of our biggest, most incredible in-person experiences. Tell us, as we look into 2025, what's in?
Yes. Well, as there were a lot of outs, there are also quite a few ins. So what you all were just talking about with regard to, learning by doing, simulations have been something that have come to the forefront.
What do you know about simulations?
Oh my gosh, too much. So we're all living in one. No.
Different episode, Layla.
Yeah, we'll kind of have a whole separate episode about that. But no, clients are really wanting simulations as not so much its own offering, but really an enhancement to a lot of our current offerings as they stand. Because what simulations allow learners to do is really, step into the shoes in a practice environment, in a risk-free environment where they can learn by doing, make mistakes. And it's also just a lot of fun. They're competitive. And so really just a chance to kind of step out of the typical day-to-day, maybe out of the typical offsite or learning experience and into something really special and really memorable.
Ooh, can I add something to that?
Please.
I would also just say, if you think about different learning styles and preferences of folks, simulations tap into every type of learner, whether it's kinesthetic, auditory, visual, etc. Simulations are a great way to make sure you're connecting with everyone in the audience.
My question to you, Layla, is when I think of simulations historically, I think of like massive computer databases and like people sitting in front of like these weird like algorithms like choose A or B and if then kind of trees.
Right.
How complex do simulations need to be?
Not really that complex, and they can really range. They can be as simple as, like a scenario based or kind of just a role play type simulation. We call them scenario based here.
Yeah.
And those can be for a variety of applications. We've seen them done for most often, frontline managers. You're new in this people leader role. You're managing this team of characters, and you're faced with a situation, and so they'll get a chance to react to that situation, maybe try out some new mindsets, so that when they're faced with that scenario back on the job, it's more natural, it's easier. It's, oh, I've seen this before.
Yeah, I love that. If you are working with a partner on developing leadership development programs or learning experiences, or your next big workshop at your SCO, and they are not asking for time to sit down with you and do some serious discovery in developing a couple of these real world scenarios that your employees are facing every day, you're working with the wrong partner.
Mic drop.
So that is something that we believe very, very strongly in terms of the way that, our work is differentiated. It's why we keep our client portfolio where it's at, because we just love to go that deep with our clients. We love to sit down with them and understand what truly is the big opportunity for your organization and what's at risk. And then we build these situational scenarios or these simulations around them. And it makes it so real for your people. So Layla and Michael, thank you for bringing your leadership and your expertise, but more specifically, this concept of simulations that for me was this really nebulous term to the forefront of our in-person experiences. And it's something that I think is going to really, really create value for our clients for years to come. So thank you both. Yeah, thank you for being here. Yes. Thank you, Layla. All right. We are kind of going through a couple of big trends here in 2025 as we celebrate this new space that we're creating here at Thoughtium headquarters in Chicago. And I've got one last group. We're going to be ending on this topic of workspace. So I want to bring in the two folks that know a ton about that, because they've been at the throes of this HQ project over the course of the last almost 8 months. Amanda and Molly, please come in. Welcome. This is a really cool format. I just get to call people in. I get to summons people to the table. Yeah. Welcome to the round table, both of you. Amanda, welcome.
Hi,
How
thanks.
are you?
Doing well.
Yeah?
How are you?
How's the week
Happy
going
New
for
Year.
you? What's the week been like for you?
Oh man, emotional, but in a good way. We've been working on this space, to your point, for several months, and to see it in use and our team here. I mean, you caught me yesterday. I was like, I'm a little emotional about it. And then I got full on emotional about it. So it's been a really exciting week. And just so fun to be in it together.
Yeah. I mean, how many times were have I you nudged me or I've nudged you? I'm like, I can't believe we're doing it. Yeah. We're actually doing it.
It's happening.
We have our own space now. It's really incredible. And you've been just at the center of everything, right, that pertains to our people and our team. And again, workspace as a platform is something that we believe very strongly here at Thoughtium. I know that there are other organizations out there, particularly small organizations, that are thinking about, should we have an office space? Should we stay in WeWork, a co-working space? I know that it is still so kind of in, well, maybe not, but I think a lot of people think that it's still in to be virtual first, virtual always. I know that, several years ago, that was kind of the collective demand of the workforce, but I think we're feeling shifts happening in workspace experience. So Amanda, tell us, maybe start with what's out. What are we not bringing into 2025 as it pertains to our workspace?
So I only have one. Okay. I feel like Michael upstaged me. I didn't know we were coming with 5.
He actually might have a few on this one too, but we only have 2 mics. So
what's out is mandating return to office without having and articulating a workplace strategy. Why are people coming back? Are you creating an environment that people can come and do their best work and collaborate and actually enjoy being at? Yeah. How many, I bet every single person watching and every single person in this room has at least one friend that their company has mandated return to office, and they go there, sit alone, and tune into Zoom. That ain't it. Yep. That's out.
Yep.
Having a true strategy around why and how is in for 25. Sorry. You have the in, but you have more.
Yeah. Well, I just these are such good points. I was actually just talking to a friend of mine who was just called back, to I think it was a 4-day-a-week work policy. And she was saying that by the time it takes for her to get up, get ready, get on the road, get to the office, get set up, find some sort of hotel and cubicle, and get on a Zoom laptop, 2 to 3 hours of unproductive time for her, and she's having the same Zoom meetings all day, every day that she would be having at home.
Yep.
So I love this idea of like, if you don't have a workplace strategy, then you probably shouldn't be mandating folks coming back to the office. Yeah.
And we recently, our local team here was, our policy was 2 days a week.
Yep.
We recently bumped up to 3 days a week with the investment of this space. And that was a clear part of our communication to the team. Like, listen, we've created a space with world-class technology so you can do your best work. We've created zones for you to come in and be super productive. We've also created a lot of comfort and space for well-being here. And that's why we're asking you to come in a little bit more. We're creating a bit more togetherness, and here's why. And guess what? We had 0 people say, I don't want to do that. That are like, this is crap. This isn't worth my time.
Yeah. To Azmeen's point, it's the micro moments, and that's really what this space was designed around. So, Amanda, thank you for as always, standing at the center of our people and being the voice and the leader of our people. Thank you for everything you've done to help design and create this space. And congratulations to you on every bit of change that's happening in your world as well too. Yes.
It's a privilege. Thank you.
We're lucky to have you. Okay, Molly.
Yes.
Welcome to the table.
Thank you.
And welcome
Glad
to Chicago. Yes.
This is nice to be in Chicago.
Perfect
again.
example of one of our Thoughtium teammates that lives in Charlotte and historically could feel very disconnected from everything that we're doing in Chicago, but has not at all. And in fact, like, we feel your presence so much in the way that we collaborate, the way that we connect, and the fact that when it matters most, like, you are here in person. So thank you for being here. Tell us what's in terms of workspace and how we should be approaching it in 2025.
Yeah, what's in is definitely creating that responsive and flexible workplace strategy and making sure that it really meets the needs and the well-being of your business and your people. And I think finding that perfect balance about what your people need and want, but also what your business needs and wants at that time. And like Amanda said, communicating that. Maybe this isn't exactly what your people asked for, but your business is calling for something else.
Yeah.
And if you're intentional about that and communicating, it's going to go over a lot better than if you're just kind of hiding behind that. And so making sure you're finding some of that balance between people and business, I think, is really crucial.
I love that. You were also a big part of the design of this space. I'm curious, you and I are typically behind some of the more like intricate details of these types of like very physical experiential projects. Yeah. What was like 1 or 2 things that either you or you and I were like kind of fixating on over the course of the last few months that really matters in a space like this, but maybe can't be seen or heard every day, but can be felt?
Yeah. I mean, so many things. If
you're working with me, so many things.
So many things, exactly. 2 really come to mind. I think one, especially as someone who's mostly remote, there was a lot of intentionality about how our in-team and remote people collaborate. So when we have our team meetings, like, what does that audio video look like so that our remote people really feel part of the space?
Yeah.
And I think with that investment here, like, we're able to feel that and feel more part of the space with that. I think the other thing is, the amount of times that we say, should this frame be 1 inch bigger or smaller? It does make a difference, but we spend a lot of hours on that.
We do. And part of that's just like, I think we're just really passionate about the details.
True.
But part of it too is, and this is why I love workspace design so much, is that it's a collection of so many small details that make the workspace experience here at Thoughtium. And this space is such a perfect example that it is truly a collection of a lot of really great details. I wish we could take this camera and kind of walk you around and show you. Maybe we'll put a little video together and show our community. But Molly, you have been a big part of our growth here at Thoughtium. You've also been the voice and the leader behind everything creative here at Thoughtium. And for that, you were also recently promoted.
I was.
So Molly was just recently promoted to Associate Creative Director here at Thoughtium. This is somebody who just 3 years ago came in with a very specific role and immediately like smashed through the doors of what the role could potentially become. And now she heads up our entire creative department here at Thoughtium, and we'll be hiring a team shortly. So congratulations, Molly.
Thank you.
We're so excited for you. Whew, that was a lot of ins and outs for 2025, but so much fun. And we want to thank you all for being a part of our community, the community that supports us through all of these growth spurts that we've been in over the course of the last 8 years. I think about some of the biggest milestones of, hiring our first employees, to moving into a larger co-working space, to the 100 and 200 episode of Navigating Now. These are all milestones that we love to share with you all. We're about telling the story, and we're about creating value, not just through the client work, but also through community development and community design. Thank you all so much for being a part of the community. If you are here in Chicago, text one of us if you know one of us. Mom, you can text me as well too if you're here in Chicago. And we would love to show you around the offices here at Thoughtium. We're in the heart of the West Loop. We have plenty of open collaborative space. If you've got a challenge or something you're working on and you want to come through and pick on one of us to help you through it, we're happy to extend that time and that space with you all. So for this episode 213 of Navigating Now, we want to wish you all a very happy new year, a very incredible, safe, healthy 2025. And we look forward to seeing you every Thursday at 3 p.m. Central. So long.